Hello everyone, this is Bennett, your Fantasy Football Commish with the Week 9 Fantasy Football Weekly Recap. Pretty amazing week this week. We had the Game of the Year that ended last night with our first big Monday night football swing. It was also the most back and forth game of the year as well, between the Aussies and the Stallions. We also had our highest point total ever, both as a team and also an individual. With the You Got Beat by a Girls 228 point outburst this week. So let's get right to the recap. So this is what fantasy football is all about. Obviously, I'm biased a little bit because it was my team that pulled out the victory, but an amazing game nonetheless. All day Sunday, the Aussies and Stallions were slugging it out. The early games, towards the end, the Slim Aussies took a really nice lead. Andrew Luck had the amazing fourth quarter and over 400 yards passing. In a complete blowout, every time I looked up, Brandon Marshall was scoring a touchdown for the Bears, mostly in garbage time. I mean, the game was well in hand, but yet he had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter during garbage time. So that was nice, obviously, for the Aussies. Took a nice lead. But then the Stallions roared back in the afternoon games, specifically Carson Palmer. I think he had 1 touchdown and 150 yards in the first half. Went down to do some housework, came back in the fourth quarter. He had 3 touchdowns. Then I just looked up, and he actually had a 4th touchdown. And amazing second half for Carson Palmer. So that, along with the Sunday night games, Julio Jones and Jason Witten, the Spring Street Stallions took the lead and ended up, when the dust settled Sunday night, going into the Monday night game, the Stallions were up 158 to 152, 6-point lead with Marquez Colston going for the Stallions and Deshaun Jackson going for the Slim Aussies. So on to Monday night. Deshaun Jackson got a couple cheap catches early in the game to pull within 2. But then Marcus Colston had a 1-yard touchdown catch, a little bit of a cheap touchdown, but 7 points nonetheless on that play, plus 20 or 30 or so additional yards. So the Stallions looked like they were pulling away there for a minute. But again, the play of the year, the game of the year, ended up with the 77-yard touchdown for Deshaun Jackson. Turned I think it was a 13 or 14-point play. First of all, 1 point for the catch, 7 points for the 77 yards, 6 points for the touchdown, plus a bonus 2 points for a touchdown of longer than 50 yards. And in addition to that, there was the total yardage there was exactly 100. So with all those points, and that was the last catch of the game for either player, the Slim Aussies took the lead and a narrow 174-172 victory. You should have seen me doing the silent cheer in my lazy boy last night. Of course, I got my daughter sleeping in the swing on the other side of the room, so I can't scream and yell. But man, I was pumped, and I don't think I've ever seen one big touchdown swing a game on Monday night, and that was the last point of the game. So the Slim Aussies win a big game. Not only was it big in terms of how the game went, but also both teams were 5-4 in the MASH division, with the Stallions winning the previous head-to-head. So if the Stallions win that game, they not only have a 1-game lead, but also the head-to-head tiebreaker. So big game for the Aussies. Tough luck loss for the Stallions, but just an exciting game nonetheless. And that brings me to the You Got Beat by a Girls amazing 228-point outburst. And the thing that I missed, I apologize for not doing a video recap last week. But the storyline from last week that continued to this week is how the teams at the top of the Mish division are really, really strong this year. You Got Beat by a Girl, just putting ridiculous numbers up every week. I'm going to get to that in a second. But then again, you have the Slim Aussies and the Stallions that after week 8 were tied at 5-3. They go head-to-head and get I believe, let's check out the scoreboard. I believe the 2nd and 3rd highest point totals for the week. So clearly the cream of the crop is in the MASH division, but let's talk about you got beat by a girl. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Mikel Ashore, nice little start there with 3 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers had just a typical Aaron Rodgers game. Matt Forte had a pretty good game as well. But really, the story of the game was Doug Martin. I mean, I think I heard on the radio somewhere that this was the 7th or 8th highest single game point total ever in fantasy football, and I could totally believe that. 251 yards, 4 touchdowns, a couple other catches, and some additional receiving yards mixed in there for a total of 61 points. That's just unbelievable for one fantasy player. So she gets 228 points, just all around amazing day. Even the Chargers defense with 24 points. So you got beat by girl. Clearly the best team in the league to this point. She's 8-1, outscoring the next highest point total, which is the Slim Aussies, by over 150 points. So pretty damn impressive for you got beat by a girl. And I know Sarah was just sitting pretty last night with her team, her victory well in hand. Meanwhile, Matt gets his heart ripped out from him. And I never got a return text from that after the Deshaun Jackson play. So I don't know if Matt fell asleep or was just too pissed off to respond to my text, because I never heard anything after that. But I definitely was pumped and can only imagine what Matt was feeling like. All right, so those are the 2 huge games. Again, the Mish division just head and shoulders above everyone else. We'll quickly go to some other games. The CT Calvinators quietly leading the Mish division at 6-3. Another steady performance. Had 140 points there, and not too many people on a bye there. Third and Oolong's just having a tough season. Josh Freeman, I guess, would have had a better day, but obviously Doug Martin got all the points for Tampa Bay. Jamal Charles having a tough time. A little bit of an off day for Reggie Bush. So just not too many points to speak of there for third and Oolong. They fall to 3-6. And again, the Calvinators, very respectable, leading the Mash division. 140 points, very respectable there, 6-3. We also have the big game between 2 4-4 teams. The Idaho Darth Taters defeat the Oceanside Lionesses 138-114. The Lionesses had a lot of people on byes, well, now that I look at it, a lot of people on byes, but no one good. The Darth Taters had a lot of people on byes: Steven Jackson, Stephen Ridley, Tom Brady. I'm sure Darth Taters will take the victory. They go to 5-4. The Lionesses fall to 4-5. And we have the Travelers still trying to make a season of it. They go to 3-6. The Cartel, again, just continuing the string. They trade away Maurice Jones-Drew, or trade for Maurice. Sorry, Maurice Jones-Drew gets hurt right after they traded away Marshawn Lynch. Michael Vick is putting up fantasy points, and as much as the Eagles suck, and Vick just, I blame it on the offensive line if I was an Eagle fan. I don't think Vick's playing that poorly, although he should be audibling out of some of these protection things. There's too many free runs, so even though the offensive line is terrible, Michael Vick should still be, changing the coverage at the line of scrimmage. But still, I give most of the share of the blame to the Eagles' offensive line. But that being said, Michael Vick got 19 points, so not terrible by any means. But the Cartel, and they actually get a very respectable 141 points. But just the tough luck season continues. Meanwhile, the Travelers, staying in the fight, move to 3-6, and they get 152 points there. And the final game I guess that's it. Those are all the games. So again, Mish division, just getting my divisions mixed up here, but the Mish division is very, very strong. Let's take a look at the standings. Like I said, you got beat by girls sitting pretty at 8-1. Slim Aussies with a huge head-to-head victory over the Stallions. They go to 6-3. Stallions 5-4, and Travelers hanging tough at 3-6. I guess if the season ended today, there'd be a three-way tie record-wise for the fourth playoff position. Not sure what the tiebreakers are, so there's a logjam for that fourth position, and the Calvinators with a one-game lead in the MASH division, obviously would be in the playoffs as of today, but still a lot of work to do for all the teams, pretty much, except you got beat by a girl, which is looking really good here. So there we go. We have, again, the Calvinators leading the MASH division. You got beat by a girl in the Mish division. Really, the only team that's totally out of it is the Cartel. So hope you had as exciting fantasy week as I did. Obviously, winning on Monday night like that makes me extremely pumped. Hope everyone got out and voted today, and the lines weren't too long. I waited about an hour, but such is life. It's not the end of the world. So everyone have a great week, and we'll see you next week. And looking forward to seeing some of the Forrest family down in Atlanta for a bar mitzvah. So I know Matt and Sarah and I will definitely be talking smack this weekend, and should be a lot of fun. So everyone, till next week, have a great week, and take care. Go Bama.